Hello Taurus, my name is Keith Haswell. I'm a professional astrologer with over 30,000 clients worldwide and 40 years experience in the business. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this video on your cycles, Taurus, for May and June 2014. I've already done the major cycles for the whole of 2014 with the slower moving planets, Jupiter and Saturn, and what I'm going to do on this one is to look at the faster moving planets that do have impact on a week by week basis and over the next couple of months for you. So you just sit back and relax, Taurus, and enjoy the journey with me. Before I get into your cycles, just a little bit of information to help you to understand the way that it all works, the way that astrology works. I'm very happy to see that you are interested in the science of astrology, and this can be a basic introduction to esoteric understanding and the spiritual side of life. After all, if the planets do have impact in our life, it puts intelligence into the whole scheme of things, and it means that the planets are not just there as blobs of matter, as science says, that it can have no impact upon human life here on Earth, but they are the hands of the cosmic clock, some sort of a cosmic clock, and that there's intelligence behind the whole scheme of things, and that these planets move around in the houses of our horoscope and precipitate events and conditions in our life. So it's very important for you to get a little bit of a grounding on what I'm trying to convey to you here, because I'm really into the consciousness side of things and the impact that these planets have upon your consciousness. And I want to help you to understand that there's more to astrology than meets the eye, and to have you want to delve deeper into things like reincarnation, because that's all tied in with astrology, and also meditation, that's all tied in with astrology as well, because it deals with the subjective side of life. But just a little bit about the way that the planets work. We are all living in a space-time rule set. We are all creating all the events and conditions of our life. We have all the raw materials there to be able to create this with our attitudes and our beliefs, our thoughts and our feelings, and our decisions and our choices. Through those decisions and choices, we are then brought to the utilization of our three tools. Nobody has any different tools, and those tools are our desire, imagination, and expectancy. What do we desire to happen? What do we expect to happen? And what do we imagine to happen? This is what will happen in our life. But this is what's happening, is that we are all having all of these thoughts and feelings all the time inside of ourselves on emotional and mental levels, and these are creating thought forms, and these thought forms are added to by repetition upon the same line of thinking. Life never works out for me, I'm a bad person, low self-esteem, problems with self-image, and so on and so forth. Shame and guilt and fear and anxiety and doubt and insecurity, and life is a financial struggle for me, and nothing ever works out for me. I'm unlovable. All these different ideas and thoughts that we have, and feelings and attitudes and beliefs that we have inside of ourselves, they are all creating these powerful thought forms, and these thought forms reside in our aura, and they are then triggered off into events and conditions that are in the likeness of those attitudes and beliefs and thoughts and feelings by the movement of the planets through the houses of our horoscope. So what I'm going to do is to tell you about the movements of the Sun and Mercury and Venus and Mars through the 2 months of May and June 2014, so that you get an idea of the type of influences that these planetary movements will have. But realise and appreciate that they are simply triggering off events that are incipient events there in your aura in the form of thought forms. that you are creating your own reality, and that all of these thought forms are coming to manifestation in life as conditions and events in your life according to laws that God and Goddess have put into place. So you just sit back and relax now and enjoy the journey with me as we go through the houses of your horoscope and the movements of these planets through those houses of your horoscope in May and June 2014 for you. What I'm going to do for you now, Taurus, is I'm going to lay things out for you on a timeline in the month of May and June 2014, and I'll tell you where the planets are and what sort of influences that they'll bring about on an ongoing basis during those 2 months. And when I give you a particular change in the location of that particular body, the Sun, Mercury, Venus or Mars, then it remains that way until I tell you a change in regard to that body again. So you just sit back and relax, Taurus, and enjoy the journey with me here. Now on the beginning of the month, the 1st of May, you've got the Sun in the first house of your horoscope, which will give you a feeling of being a lot more in control and a lot more powerful. Your personality drive will be very, very strong during the early part of the month. Mercury is also in the first house of your horoscope to start the month off, and that means that you're going to be very communicative and you'll be very, very busy wanting to do things all the time. Venus is in the 11th house to start off the month. That means that you have a lot of social activities revolving around friends. So you'll want to be getting out and experiencing group activities and club activities and things like that, and you'll be very affectionate with friends. There'll be perhaps new friendships will be formed and a lot of happiness there in the social side of life of a group nature. Mars starts off the month of May in the 6th house of your horoscope, Taurus, and it's in a retrograde motion. Now when Mars is in a retrograde motion, it starts throwing your energies back into the past. So there'll be a tendency there with workmates and matters relating to the job to be throwing your energies back into the past and to perhaps be picking fights with people that you work with. There can be a little bit of worries about health matters, maybe some problems from the past are starting to reoccur in your life and so forth to do with health and dietary matters around that time. Then on the 4th of May, Taurus, Venus moves into the 12th house of your horoscope and remains there for the rest of the month, and that will see you having a great deal of love for solitude. So you'll have more of a desire to be by yourself and to snuggle up with the divine, what you might say. There'll be a potential there for getting involved in some sort of secret relationship or some sort of relationship which is not in your own best interests. So just be careful during that period. On the 8th of May, Taurus, Mercury moves into the 2nd house of finances, so there's going to be a flurry of activity revolving around paying bills and getting things done and worrying about finances and focusing upon financial matters and matters relating to your security. But Mercury is retrograde from that time onwards too, Taurus, so there's going to be a tendency to dwell in the past quite a bit about financial matters during that time. On the 23rd of June, Taurus, the Sun moves into your 3rd house and remains there for the next 30 days. Now when the Sun is in the 3rd house, you're going to be wanting to socialise a lot more with relatives. You'll want to be the centre of attention in conversation and communication during that time. You'll have a lot more sense of pride revolving around your means of transport like motor vehicles and things like that. And the last one that we come to, Taurus, is the 24th of June. Venus moves into the 2nd house of finances, and then from there on things are going to go a lot better for you financially. You'll have a lot of extra money coming in and good fortune to do with your finances. And that's as far as I go for you here, Taurus, with your cycles. Well, now that I've gone through these cycles for you, Taurus, it's time now for you to reach and stretch and become more of who you really are. You're Venus ruled. Venus rules the fifth ray of science and concrete mind. And so you've got a tremendous capacity to research and investigate the deeper side of life. So I call upon you, Taurus, to follow up further. Go to my website, www.mysteryofsirius.com, and put in your application there for your free horoscope chart. I'll then do your horoscope chart for you free of charge and send it to you, together with all of the links to my videos, and also all of the links to 12 of my CDs out of my first book, What Really Matters, on astrology, meditation and reincarnation. So let's have some fun together, Taurus. Let's go and reach and stretch together so that you can become more of the giant that you truly are.